Just like on Earth, space is getting crowded as the world increasingly relies on satellites flying overhead for communication, commerce, navigation, scientific research, and defense. Many spacecraft, especially those in polar orbits, fly very close to each other at breakneck speeds of 7.5 kilometers per second, with little margin for error.
That's why we encourage close cooperations among spacecraft operators, so next time we have a close approach amongst active spacecraft, we can look to communicate better, avoid making mistakes, and avoid having a future collision.
The wake-up call came in 2010 when Landsat 5, a 26-year-old satellite operated by the United States Geological Survey, slightly changed its orbit and began to cross into the neighboring orbit of an international constellation of Earth-observing satellites called the A-Train, because the satellites follow each other like a train. In response to the unexpected close approach, USGS and NASA developed a simple strategy to manage future close approaches by executing routine drag maneuvers several weeks in advance, targeted to assure sufficient radial separation at the time of close approach. The episode underscored the need for greater communication and coordination whenever orbital flight paths change due to planned maneuvers, equipment failure, or space weather. Since 2010, there have been many examples of well-coordinated close approaches. In 2011, CloudSat had to exit the A-Train due to power problems and was able to re-enter and rejoin the constellation thanks to careful planning between mission teams. GCOM W1, when it launched in 2012, safely joined the A-Train constellation thanks to 3 years of coordinated planning between NASA and the Japan Aerospace and Exploration Agency. In 2013, SAC-C, an inoperable Argentine spacecraft, passed through the A-Train without incident. And in 2014, when a close approach was predicted between EO-1, a NASA spacecraft, which had run out of fuel, and Helios-2, a French spacecraft, the two teams worked together, and the Helios-2 team agreed to stand ready to maneuver, which in the end wasn't necessary. Despite these success stories, the space community must be ever vigilant. With so many constellations sharing similar polar orbits, it is essential spacecraft operators coordinate maneuvers to avoid a mistake and possibly making the situation worse with catastrophic consequences. With each new launch, space becomes more congested. Managing conjunctions between active missions is an international and multi-organizational responsibility. Without formalized agreements to allow for greater communication between all spacefaring nations, the collision risk will escalate. Now is the time to act.